feared identity. Everyone has this. There's your feared identity. There's your current identity, what you believe to be true about yourself now, and then there's your desired identity. And what we want to do in the call, especially in the stakes, because what the stakes are doing is it's actually revealing their feared identity. That's why we're hearing things like, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to leave this to my family. I don't want to be unprepared. I don't want to be the guy that didn't provide. They're exposing their feared identity. There's a price, like the product has a price, what we're talking about today, and then there's cost. What is waiting cost you, right? And our job is to essentially the job of the stakes is to move their brain away from price. What is this going to cost me? And move it towards consequence. What will this cost my family if I do nothing? What does it cost me to do nothing? What does it cost my beneficiary if I do nothing? Right. That is the essential, I guess, goal if we had to melt it all down or boil it all down. Our job in the stakes are to not just identify, but what do we do? Raise them. So identifying the stakes, that's fine. I would say where most agents struggle is that they underbuild the stakes. They ask a couple decent questions, they identify it, but they don't raise the stakes. And we cannot help our client understand that the cost of doing nothing is higher than the monthly premium if we're not raising the stakes as well, right? How do we raise the stakes? The stakes are emotional, but they're practical to a degree, and they're personal consequences tied to the decision. So the stakes are where the sale becomes real. This is where the sale is made. Without the stakes, our conversation stays very informational. We're just kind of transferring information. Oh, did you know of this term versus whole or this carrier versus that carrier? They've been in business for this long. You're giving them information that they could Google or Chat GPT, right? Without the stakes, the conversation is informational, and informational closes or conversations are not going to close. When you're overwhelmed or you feel like you have a big decision in front of you, does more information, if I piled on information, does that hurt or help your ability to make a decision? It hurts it, right? And people don't act when something is just because it's true. Information can be true, but that doesn't make you act, does it? I know that it's true that if I uh we could use the gym analogy. Like if you eat healthier and go to the gym, you will look better, feel better, operate at your best. That doesn't get your butt out of bed every day. They act when it becomes meaningful, not just because it's true. It has to mean something to them. And so when we're underbuilding the stakes, we're asking a couple decent questions and then we move on too quickly because we either feel like we're bothering them, we're not confident, we don't have enough conviction ourselves in what we're doing and why this matters. But we might, hey, we would get who it's for. What does that look like? Would that be a strain? Yeah, it would. Okay, well, let me tell you what I can do, right? And then we keep it pushing. That's skimming the stakes. That's not building the stakes. So we are not just trying to find the reason, we're trying to develop the weight of the reason. It's already there. It already exists. We just have to help the client expose it to themselves. The thing that Nadine mentioned, I said last week that people need to feel like they arrived at that conclusion on their own. That conclusion is within them. We just have to help dust it off for them. So there are four layers to the stakes. There's just like a surface stake. You have like, oh, I want coverage. That's not even really stakes. There's personal, which is I don't want my kids stuck with funeral expenses. There's emotional. I've seen what that does to a family. I don't want mine dealing with that. And then there's the actual consequence of if I put this off and something happens, now the burden shifts to them. I've seen what it does to families, and I don't want that happening to my family. But when they start thinking in terms of consequences, that last layer is where the decision actually happens. You have to know that in the stakes, the client's first answer is generally the headline, so to speak. And you have to know how to stay there long enough to make it real. We are not manufacturing pain. We're just clarifying what the consequences are. We're not manufacturing any pain. We're not pulling it out of thin air. We're clarifying what happens if nothing happens. What we need to do psychologically in the stakes. We're trying to move them from curiosity about all of this and how it works to ownership. They need to feel ownership of what's happening. And it moves from interest to seriousness. Like they're okay, I was interested, now I'm taking this seriously. I feel personally invested in this. This is not just something I think would be a good thing to do. It's something that needs to be done. And it goes from, yeah, this is a good idea to this is my responsibility now. And to transition into when we give options and provide a solution, price is not killing most sales. It's just that it's low stakes. When you move out of this too early, or it's underdeveloped when you move away from it, and you hope you can duke it out at the end with a good quote. Oh, maybe one of my favorite lines from Roger Short is, "Where there's no value, there's no price low enough. When the reason stays vague, the decision stays optional." What are my goal mentally for myself? This is the way I gamify it in my head. That sounds a little sociopathic as we're talking about people's lives, but the way I've gamified it is I'm trying to walk people to the very edge of the cliff in the stakes. And I want to show them that, get them to understand the reality of what's going to happen if they do nothing. And then I get to be the good guy, the safety net, the safe place, and give them the good news of, well, hey, guess what we get to do today? We get to take care of this. So when we what we want to do, if we walk them up to the edge, then we're able to go, but guess what? Here's the safe way down. Here's the safe route down this valley without falling. Hey, here's the safety protocols, and we've got fences up, and we have a carabiner. We're gonna hook you in. Blah blah blah. That's the great news. I'm the expert, right? If you're talking to a doctor, do you find comfort in? I find comfort in when they're being kind of matter of fact and calm about what our next step is. That's what I try to do when I'm coming out of the stakes. The stakes have to, when we enter them, there has to be a noticeable tone shift, right? Our tonality changes. We're clearly in it with them. We're listening more than we're talking. We're handling it delicately. We're not up here talking about. We're not asking them stakes questions the same way we're asking them about if they're from Dallas, right? Where it's not just checking off question boxes. There has to be a noticeable change. And when we come out of it, can transition out of that slowly. Well, hey, Miss Nadine, I appreciate you sharing all that. My goodness, you sound like a wonderful mother. I hope you hear that a lot. So if I could, let me explain to you what this is going to look like and how we can take care of this for you today. Okay. And we'll make sure that Jenny isn't, we're not worrying about this falling to Jenny anymore. Okay. And then we move into options and solution, right?
Clark, real quick.
Yes.
You mentioned some great things just now about tonality, how the voice and the stakes should not be the same voice when you're going over like how the policy works. And
Hmm.
you also mentioned just now about a little bit something called identity framing. You mentioned that just now. So do you mind in like a 2 minute, very, very brief role playing of you being the agent and I'm the client? Because there's also like four questions that should be indoctrinated in the stakes conversation. These are four questions, Ms. Bentley, where like this should be in almost every single discovery, fact finding. And guys, this is like this discovery. We're talking the stakes is a discovery. So I want you to kind of use these four questions, you don't mind, Clark, in this role playing and
You
using
want me to tell you?
tonality.
Can I tell you the questions up front so they know what to listen for?
Yes, sir. Please do.
Okay. So the first one is just, who does this impact? That's more or less confirming. That's you're a lot of people wonder, how do I know I'm entering the stakes without it sounding fake, right? The moment I say, okay, so now on the form here, put your beneficiary as your daughter, what's your daughter's name? Or you put it as your spouse, what's your spouse's name? That to me is me. I know that I'm walking into the arena of the stakes. Now we're getting into who it matters for and why it matters, right? But question one is just, who does this impact if we do nothing? Or who are we looking to protect? Okay, so it's your daughter. What's her name? Jenny. Excellent. Well, tell me more about Jenny. So the first one is who, then the second one is, what happens if I do nothing? What happens if you do nothing today? What does that look like for Jenny if you do nothing? The third one is, what do you want it to look like? And then the fourth one is, why is that important to you? Those are the four stakes questions that if you can ask, I would say try to ask all four, but if you can ask three of those, minimum, every call, you will see a difference in your ability to close. Now, identity framing. Wait, do you want me to get into that, Mike, or do you want me to role play?
Just role play it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Mike, on the form here, you put your spouse as your beneficiary. What's your spouse's name?
Hillary.
Hillary. Excellent. Very good. How long have you and Miss Hillary been together?
For about 3 years, going on 4.
Okay, very good. Let's pretend you said let's pretend or whatever. It's fine. I was gonna say a final expense claim. Any kids or grandkids?
Yeah, I got one. Got one more coming out next month, which is a girl.
Excellent.
How exciting.
Excellent. Well, congrats. That's awesome. So you got one and then another on the way. Okay.
Yes.
How old is it boy or girl that you have now?
I have a boy now.
Excellent.
He's 2 years old. He's amazing.
Okay.
His name is Todd.
Excellent. Very good. There's nothing like the terrible twos, man. It'll catch up to you.
Yeah.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit more about Miss Hillary then, Mike, as far as what why we're talking about this today. If God forbid if something were to happen to you and you didn't have coverage in place as is that going to be a strain for her to take care of, or is that going to be a is she going to be able to handle that? Or I guess walk me through what that looks like.
Oh man, yeah, it'll be super hard on her. I mean, it would be devastating because I'm the breadwinner and she would have to be very, very emotional, but it'd be very hard on her, to say the least.
You said devastating.
Yeah. It would be very devastating, to say the least.
Mm. Can you could just so I'm clear in how I can help here, Mike? Can you like what do you mean by devastating? Like what does that look like specifically?
Well, just people when people pass away, it's like, the funeral home, they want the money yesterday, and then, she has to come out of pocket to pay for things. And yeah, yeah, we have some savings, but like we're gonna maybe use that when we're living. So it'll be really hard. I mean,
Mm,
she would be in a tough spot, honestly.
okay. Have you guys t kind of talked through a plan B? Like, is she doing like taking out a loan or doing a GoFundMe, or you guys have family that could jump in and help, or I guess what does that look like
Man,
financially?
we talk about that kind of stuff, but I didn't get this done, honestly. Like this, I've been waiting too long. I see all these ads, so I didn't get this done.
Mm. Mike, what do you want this to look like for her? I know you said you want to get it done. What would you like to look in an ideal world? What does this look like for Hillary and Todd?
Man, I mean, what it looks like is peace of mind. It's peace of mind. It's a good memory of me, not a
Mm.
bad memory.
Mm. Well, man, Mike, I mean, just man to man or father to father here, I gotta say, a lot of respect for the way you're thinking here. Like you'd be surprised. I talk to a lot of families every week, and not a lot of people talk like that. So I commend you thinking that way. I can tell you're the kind of guy that wants to make sure his family's taken care of first and foremost. So I commend you for that. Mike, do you mind if I ask you? It might sound like a silly question after this.
Yeah, of course.
So like I said, I just talk to a lot of families every week, and everybody's answer is a little different. But I was just curious, like why is this so important to you specifically to take care of?
Man, I just want to be remembered the same way when I pass away as they remember me now, as the man that took care of the family.
Hmm.
So that's my goal, man. That's my goal.
Is that have you seen anyone in your life? I guess like where does that come from? Have you seen someone in your life pass away and not be that provider for their family?
Man, my cousin that I looked up to, he had nothing, man. It was tough. Like children going crazy. It was tough. I don't want that for my family.
Well, Mike, I again, I commend you for thinking and talking the way you do, man. It's more and more rare these days, so I respect it a lot. Well, let me explain to you here. I guess let's walk through what this will look like and how we can maybe take care of this for you today, and then I'll
Boom.
transition out.
Clark, you want to debrief that before I go over the options, or you good?
No, I'm good.
But no, what you did just now was absolutely amazing, guys. I love the identity framing that he kind of touched upon. I'm sure he would have touched upon it more throughout his presentation. Guys, write this down. When I told you guys, when I said early in the script that I just want to leave my family the same way as they remember me now, when clients say stuff like that to you, most clients, they just want to be remembered or live up to their memory as they are right now through the presentation. Like as an agent, you're trying like to mirror them, to like give them the affirmations to get this policy that can live up to this picture of themselves as they are right now or who they want to be. So like if I'm saying, hey, I want to take care of the family, I'm going to identity frame you and say, hey, man to man, I don't blame you. As men like me and you, we always want to take care of the family. So I'm glad you're getting it. Like you want to identity frame me so I can live up to this picture of myself of who I want to be or who I am right now, that I want to stay who I am as right now throughout this whole presentation. You want to add upon that, Clark?
Yeah, just real quick, that what Mike's talking about there, there's a thing called the identity triad, and there's your feared identity. Everyone has this. There's your feared identity, there's your current identity, what you believe to be true about yourself now, and then there's your desired identity. And what we're doing in the what we want to do in the call, especially in the stakes, because what the stakes are doing is it's actually revealing their feared identity. That's why we're hearing things like, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to leave this to my family. I don't want to be unprepared. I don't want to be the guy that didn't provide, right? They're exposing their feared identity. They're saying it out loud on a platter for you. What we want to do is affirm their current identity, the kind of person that wants to not be that. And then we want to pitch our where that call is going. If Mike and I kept role playing there, we want to show that what we're doing here on the call today is a bridge to their desired identity. So this call is a bridge away from their feared identity, and it's taking them to their desired identity. And in the process, we're affirming their current identity, the kind of person that's on the call right now. And if they see this as a path away from the thing they fear and towards the thing they desire, and the way you do that is by identity framing. You seem like the kind of guy that wants to get this taken care of. You seem like the kind of guy that doesn't like. So we're affirming right now as they're exposing the thing they're afraid of. And hey, here's the good news. That's the path out of the stakes. Here's the good news: is what we can do is this, this, and this. That's all I
And it
have.
works the same thing for women too, because most
Yes,
women just
sorry,
want
yeah.
to take care of the family. That's like they want to live up to that mother that took care of their children or X, Y, and Z.
You seem like the kind of
Um,
lady that just gets things done for their family. Is that right?
boom.
I heard shout out James Garland. He on Anchor Point. He said it was one of the most beautiful identity frames I've ever heard in my life, and it was the most beautiful one-two punch I've ever heard. I played it for the team, and I still think about it. I fell asleep thinking about it. This man said before he was necessary, even totally in the stakes, he said, I almost used it today, but I wanted to give him credit. He said, "You sound like the kind of lady that just likes to be in control of her own life, take control of her own life. Is that right?" Which, by the way, is really anchoring her down to what you get. Like, you're gonna not do that now. You're gonna not take control of your life. That's the subtext there. You seem like the kind of lady that likes to take control of your own life. And then she started talking about, yeah, well, I saw this and this and this happen. And then he just sat in a pause for a second. He went, hmm. So who are you protecting? I mean, dude, give that man the Oscar. Like, hand it off. That's done. Ball game. Wrap it up. It was, but he tied her down and then tied it to consequence. And there's no way you're not going anywhere from there except an app. I can tell you that. So
No, I love it, man. This is amazing. This is what I wanted to happen. We won't have time to go over the part of the sales process called options, giving out options to your clients or your leads, because we went over stakes for about 30 minutes, which I think if you do the stakes the right way, the options part is super easy. All right,
Okay.
y'all. With that being said, amazing call for today. Thank you, definitely, Clark, for speaking about the stakes today.